Yeah, Matt Lee. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I just watched your piece on YouTube, and I, for one, I'm full up for you know an open dialogue. You know what I mean? And I agree that racism, is upstairs up here. But to me, I have to say, you sound totally deluded because again, surely, you sound educated enough to know that when you check throughout history, the way racism has evolved and i.e. for where it starts, you know what I mean, it comes from one corner. Now let me put it this way: we have been taught to hate ourselves in many various fashions. Now, let's just take, you mentioned the Ku Klux Klan. Let's just take the Ku Klux Klan for instance. Now, when black people, right, see the Ku Klux Klan, it evokes images, or for a lot of people, it's just fair because back in the day, we don't see Ku Klux Klan today as it was back then. Now, when a person would see the Ku Klux Klan back in the day, you know what? Is run. That's what they be thinking. They ain't gonna be thinking, oh, hey, let me open some dialogue with this man. No, it's run. But then, when we take a look at the Ku Klux Klan, you know what? The image we see that we've now learned to hate is the image that we should all embrace. I mean, there's a lot of black people out there now who be hearing what I'm saying and thinking the image of the Ku Klux Klan something we should embrace. Yes, because that was your own image to begin with. The Ku Klux Klan took their uniform from the Brotherhood, right? And they took that uniform and made it their own and made you fear your own likeness. Now, the sad thing is, that happens to be true. But now, with this aspect of the Jena 6, you can hear many arguments around the Jena 6, but there's one thing that rings true: that when it's wrong, it's wrong. Now, if I don't believe anybody's saying that these people beat up these people, so therefore let them go. But you know what? One fight, white on black, that's cool. Another fight, black on white, that ain't alright. So white on black, we can accept that. There's a problem. So now, what I mean, if this term equal opportunities and equal rights for all has any place, wake up. Because now, which part of that is equal? Now, if those boys are going to have to face X amount of time in jails, what happened to the white boy? Should he not face the same? Or those white people, should they not face the same side? Now, if when you're going to bring these arguments, please bring them in a balanced effect. So, what I mean, we can balance it up. Because I don't find no balance. You know what? You look like a light-skinned brother, and makes me wonder where your lineage is from and which side you're batting for. And I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but when I listen to what you say, I listened, and for the first 5 minutes, I didn't want to hear no more, but I wanted to hear your story. So I listened on, and I listened on, and I listened on. But the one thing, all I hear you say, although some of your points, because I also agree, what, we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for a few, and again, let's remember, for a minority of white folk. Because, oh man, a minority. Now today, what I mean, the way I look at things, the people on the street, they're not the people that we need to fear. The people that we need to fear, you don't see, you don't hear, but their effects are felt. So you wake up. Yes, dialogue should be free. And this term, the N-word, you keep using, they say they're trying to get rid of the N-word. But remember where it come from. So it ain't freedom of speech. I'm going to say it, the word nigger never came out to make you free. It was there to subdue. It was there to oppress. So, again, that noose hanging from a tree. Now, freedom of what expression? Yeah, I agree with it. There should be freedom of expression, but Sorry, mate. When you're going to persecute somebody else, and the fact that they had a white tree, I mean, that in itself spells something, because I don't know, the one, a black tree was there. I mean, while you had the white tree, now, was there a place for black people to sit? And if there was it as comfortable as where the white tree is? Because white tree, obviously, they're in the shade. You know, they can, when it's hot, they can really cool out over there. The place for the black people, what was that, on the playing fields? You know, in the wide open. Yeah, okay. So we got our mental in, and we can handle the sun. But you know what? Sorry, man. We need to cool down too. So I say, wake up to yourself. Or are you just, you know what I mean, are you working or batting for the other side, as they would say? It was quite disturbing what I heard from you. Although, you know, some of the aspects that we were talking about, you know what, would raise a great argument if you wasn't so deluded, in my opinion. Wake up. The only reason we're, you know, well, I'm from England, but you know, your national anthem is singing about the land of the free and the home of the brave. You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean? I don't think they're talking about black people when they sing that. Because, you know, the only stories are, you know, when we go back in time and I hear stories from stateside, the majority of the black people were slaves. And, you know, when we go back through history, you know, when we do history over here in England, you know, it's a sad, sad, sad case. When we ask kids to talk about black historians, they quote Bob Marley. Now, Bob Marley is 20 years ago. Is that history? I mean, don't underestimate who Bob Marley is and what he done, but that's not what I class as history. History goes back, you know, I mean, many years, let's go hundreds. It goes back to a time where these people no longer exist, and it's very hard to find certain lineage unless it's been chronically logged. You know, but Bob Marley, for argument's sake, is yesterday. It's not history. Martin Luther King, you know, okay, history, but major icon. There's many, many more. You got Malcolm X, major icon. There's many, many more. But we don't get to hear about these too easy. We don't get to be educated about these too easy. But yet we're going to be told about Richard III, Henry VIII. You know, we got this European white history locked down. What about yours? What, you know, and i.e., and if you did manage to do, you know, get some black studies going on, who taught you this? Was there somebody really giving you this information, or was that something that you went and found out for yourself? And if you had to find that for yourself, tell me why. Because, sorry, I didn't have to find out for myself about the European history. That was installed in me, yeah? So, when you want to talk about all the racism and or freedom of speech, let's realize exactly who's trying to pull the strings here and give you what. Don't give me no crumbs and tell me I should be humble. Don't give me no crumbs and tell me how this tastes good. Wake up to yourself. Yeah, black people do need to stand up. Black people do need to, you know, we actually need to listen to an argument, not just react to 2 words. Now, the sad part is when I say that, you know what? I didn't listen to the whole of your speech because it wasn't worth it. And that's the sad part. You sound very articulate, but you know what? You'll never get it because you don't have it. You got an education, but you don't know how to use it. You got a good mind on your shoulders, my friend, but you don't know how to use it. So you ain't got it. So you better find some way of finding their bloods. Because if you want to do these things, yeah, be positive. Everybody has a right to freedom of expression, and I beg you a right to have yours say. But you know what? Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.